How do you feel about the Christmas holiday season? I don't mean what you're supposed to feel. I mean what's going on in your heart during this holiday season. I'm Dr. Carol, and I want to talk with you for a few minutes about when the holidays are hard. I think the holiday blues are much more common than most people give them credit for. You're supposed to feel good about the holidays. It's a time of family and food and giving and all the things that are supposed to be good. But it's not always that positive or simple for most of us. The holidays are quite mixed. Whatever the presents and the giving and the decorations are, I've got my little bell here. There's stuff going on underneath in your heart. And regardless of all the trappings on the outside, this can be a very ambivalent time or just outright hard time. I have a friend who lost her husband just about a year ago. It was a little before Christmas last year. And so during the Christmas season itself, she was, dealing with just all the shock and the immediacy of it. But for this year, it's even a bit harder for her going through the holiday season without her loving husband. I have another friend whose good friend's son is very estranged. And my friend's friend and her husband are just experiencing a lot of loneliness and sadness and ache because at this particular time, their son isn't communicating at all. They're not going to be able to see their son at Christmas, and just the hurt and the loneliness that goes on in this season. For me, my little wooden creche kind of symbolizes so much of this. This little wooden creche is special to me, not because it's expensive or big. If you're seeing this on the video, you'll see it. It's only about 8 or 9 inches big. It's small. I purchased this in Bethlehem some years ago. It's made out of olive wood from Israel, and it was a special memory from a time that I was privileged to take a trip in the Holy Land. And in traveling back, it all got broken up. The Mary and Joseph and the lambs, and it was all broken. If you look closely, you can still see a few of the little pieces that aren't there. The lamb's ear and Joseph's staff. And for several years, I just kept this little wooden creche in a plastic bag in my drawer. After my husband passed away a few years ago, I pulled it out at Christmas and I glued the pieces back together. It was a symbol of the broken pieces of my heart and bringing those pieces back together around the holiday season. And now, every year, this is a treasured part of what I put up in my home for the Christmas holiday season. I'd like to share with you 5 ways that you can find meaning and even joy this season, even when the holidays are hard. Regardless of whether it's just a bit of ambivalence that you feel, or whether it's just plain outright you wish the Christmas season would just go away. Let me suggest these 5 things to make this a more meaningful time and deal with the matters in your heart this Christmas season. Number 1, slow down. Another friend just wrote to me a couple days ago. She said, I have been so busy that I haven't had time to feel how easy it is to get busy during this holiday season. Maybe there are gatherings you have to prepare for, family who's coming that you have to get ready for, preparing food. My family is coming to my place on Christmas Eve this year, and there is a lot of preparation. I'm looking forward to it with joy, but there's a lot of stuff. There's events maybe at church that take extra time and effort. I have a couple that live not far from me that at one point were on staff at a church, and just multiple, Christmas services and all the work that went into that. It was a super busy time of year, and it can wear you out. Or, there's the decorating and buying presents and so on. It's so easy to not feel. Let me encourage you to slow down enough so that you can. Now, if you do slow down, you may have to contend with the sadness or grief or loneliness or regrets or memories from the past, the things that you really, a lot of you would like to keep busy enough so you don't have to feel those things. But if you don't allow yourself to slow down, you will also miss the good things. You'll miss the opportunity to feel joy, to feel connection, and to feel God's presence. You don't have to attend every holiday gathering and put up every decoration and buy every gift that you might think you should. Find what's meaningful for you and concentrate on that. And slow down enough to let your heart breathe and take in what is really needing to be dealt with in your soul this holiday season. Number 2, nourish your soul with good things. There are good things that you can take into your being this Christmas season. For me, just enjoying something simple like my little wooden creche is part of that. The lights, the music, maybe a favorite food, the sounds and tastes and lights and smells. Enjoy that. Let whatever is positive, just find a place in your soul. Intentionally look for those things. Attend the Christmas concert. Take a drive and look at the Christmas lights. For our physical bodies, we have to take in physical food every day. Our souls need nourishment too. And during this holiday season, I want to invite you to intentionally find some things that nourish your soul and allow yourself to take that in. Number 3, be generous. There is little that will lift your own spirits more than finding something to do for someone else. Just focusing on our own stuff always leads to sadness or depression or loneliness, and it's never a good thing. It's not that helping somebody else denies or ignores what angst or difficulties you are facing, but it lifts your spirits in a God-ordained way. At this time of year, there are so many opportunities to do just that. Your church may have opportunities to volunteer. You can volunteer at an organization that specifically helps people who are in need. A homeless shelter, an animal shelter. In my city, there is an organization that makes food boxes for needy families, and on Christmas Eve, families line up. The cars are lined up to pick up a food box and go deliver it to someone in need. And you have to get there early before they're all gone. Maybe you want to donate to an organization who does something like that, whatever there is where you are. Also, let me encourage you to reach out to someone individually who may need you, a single person who is not going to have family to be with this year. Invite them out for coffee. Invite them to your home, perhaps. On Christmas Eve, I am going to be inviting to my home, along with my immediate family, a woman whose husband is disabled, and she's having to take care of him, and she is going to be with me and our people for Christmas Eve for a little while, just to be around joy and so on, while her husband is being cared for. Otherwise, to give her an emotional lift. So find someone who needs your time, your care, your thought. Just a listening ear can be a gift for someone who is lonely during the Christmas holiday season. Number 4, acknowledge pain and then choose joy. Whatever is going on in your life that brings the holiday blues, that makes the holidays hard, is real. Acknowledge that. It's not denying that reality, but there will be moments where your heart will be presented with the opportunity for joy. It may be kind of a flicker, and you may be tempted to think, well, if I choose joy, then I'm denying the reality of the grief or loss or loneliness or whatever isn't the way that I would like it to be. No, that's not the case. You have a lot of ability to choose where you direct your mind. Maybe a moment that will present itself is a starry sky. You know, in the winter, there's something particularly amazing about the stars in the sky, and maybe that will present itself, or a snow-covered landscape, a particular Christmas carol. For me, there are a few carols that just really get into my soul, and it's bittersweet when I hear one of those carols because of what they have meant to me in years past. But when I hear one of those carols, I pause and just acknowledge both the bittersweetness and the moment to look for joy. Maybe that will be at a Christmas service, or seeing the lights or whatever it is. It's okay to take that moment and choose joy. And number 5, in making it through, if the holidays are hard for you, look up, look forward. This is about the birth of a baby, and a baby changes everything. In God's economy, a baby is God's opinion that the world should go on. When I am privileged to deliver a baby as an OBGYN physician, that's one of the things I will say to the parents when it's appropriate. And that is never more true than for us at Christmas. The birth of Jesus is God's opinion that our world should go on. And the birth of the Christ child in your heart anew this year is his opinion that your individual world should go on. Remember, Jesus was born right in the middle of a mess, evil. The world that Jesus came into was not pretty. Let him be born anew in your world, even though it's not pretty. Maybe there's even evil around you, whatever the circumstances. Invite him to be born anew in you. And let that birth bring hope. I believe that is the core message of Christmas. Those 5 things to encourage you in this season if the holidays are hard for you. Number 1, slow down. Take time and let your heart be. Number 2, nourish your soul with what is good. Number 3, be generous. Find someone to help and just give of yourself to them. Number 4, acknowledge whatever pain you have and then choose joy. Make the intentional mental decision to embrace a moment of goodness. And number 5, look up, look forward. Let Jesus be born in your heart anew this year. I pray this has been a bit encouraging for you. You can check the show notes under this podcast or the links under this video for the way to contact me. I would love to hear from you. And I pray that this Christmas season is a joyful one for you, regardless of the circumstances around you. And until next time, may God bless you.